Okay, guys, here to help us, the investment pros, NewOak Capital President Jim Frischling's back with us, and love the tie. But for me, each session does tell us something. And in this particular case, I think what we're starting to see, we probably will see, is that the market needs a catalyst. The bias is still to the upside. There's no doubt about that. But, you know, sort of looking for something to spring it forward. What do you think about that, Jim?
You know, today, the session had three takeaways for me. The low volume you commented on. The energy sector got particularly hit because Saudi thinks is the perfect storm and an opportunity to challenge its rivals. And then something that I think is a quiet storm brewing, but Greece is on the is right now back in focus. The European equities were down. I think people have a memory of how stressed Europe was when they thought about Greece staying or not. So it's not as concerning me now, right. but watch that thing as we head into the new year.
And I think I tend to agree, and I thought it was really ridiculous for him to point to the stock market. And having said that, I think there's a lot of families of all different colors who aren't doing well. But part of the reason, maybe, are we disconnected a little bit? Is it realistic, Jim, for someone making 30, 40, 50,000 in your mind to be in the market? For me, you can be. I bought my first stock when I was making like $10,000 a year, but it was something I really wanted to do, and I gave up a lot of other things.
No, you can be. I mean, the fact, and you should be. The fact is the equity markets represent the greatest wealth generator of not just our time, but I think in the history of markets, in which case you might not invest this. You'll invest what you can. You put a process in place, hopefully a disciplined approach where you're picking, and again, small investments, and let the appreciation over time benefits you.
All right, guys. You and I both like Flammo for nanotechnology. I've been in it many times in the last decade and a half, lost money most times. I'm going to get it back. And that battery thing, I'll go along with the applied materials. What do you like? Give me three of these things that you think might be real and how to make money from them.
Oh, look, I like the list a lot. I think what IBM is doing with Watson is going to, my tech guys at the company believe that's a game changer, in part because it lets a person like me, the non-techie, actually be able to advance ideas that are concrete into code without me being that technologically advanced. The stock I wanted to pick, actually, is pretty boring, but watch Apple. And why am I saying that? Because it's not about wearables, it's about hearables. Apple, you might remember, bought a little company called Beats. They also secured some patents in terms of collecting data through the headphones. Right. Watch what they do with that stuff in 2015.
Well, all right, Jim, you like JetBlue. JetBlue used to be a nice airline company. Now they're going to be mean. Although we will say they did fly home all the relatives of police officer Lou, who was murdered in New York. The day before that, though, they announced that they were going to make the seats smaller, raise the prices, and charge you for peanuts. That's why you like them.
That's one of the reasons I like them. I also like it because it's BYOD, bring your own device. They're rolling out.
Going to bring your own wings.
And they're rolling out this idea with the belief that if they can make, you're already bringing your device on the plane anyway, and if they could replace and get their old screens out, they're going to save a lot of maintenance costs. So I continue to think, unfortunately, for the consumer, they're starting to cheapen up the experience a little bit, but they're going to make more money.
Does that mean the stewardess won't get mad at me? In fact, instead of turning off my device, they'll invite me to keep it on?
I encourage you to use your own.
Wow. I like that. All right, Heath. There's some other brick and mortar survivors out there, but the question now, how long? GameStop, Best Buy, Barnes & Nobles, Staples. All right, guys. Some of these companies have actually fooled a lot of people. They're around. Some of these stocks have been super duper hot. A couple years ago, Best Buy was almost sold to the founder in the teens, like 12, 13 bucks. Would someone watching the show, Jim, buy any of these stocks?
I'm going to recommend Staples, and I think it's a combination of brick and mortar and what they're doing online. I also think people felt Staples had to make its money by closing stores and cutting expenses. The fact is that Starboard just took a position in Staples. I think that's known. I'm sure it's known. They were the ones who pushed for the Office Depot Office Mac merger. A bullish case for Staples is actually a consolidation with Office Depot. So I like Staples a lot.
That is very contrarian. I like it. I mean, it takes a little bit of nerve to go with, I think, Staples right now. My favorite things to look at is margin expansion. I always say when margins go this way, stocks go this way. And you don't have to worry about financial engineering at the bottom of the income statement. Start up with, with your operating margins, and that gives you a real sense of how business is going.
I'd only add to Oliver's point, I agree with those 3 points. I'd also add what we're not talking about is this new economy. We're not talking about the new economy, this vaporware that you were describing. So I actually feel there are companies that are real. We're looking at their revenues, we're looking at their margins. I think there's great substance in this market, and this is not like the 2000 tech bubble. And I do like it. I think the reason why investors have been down on it is this company has a track record of failed ventures. So I think that's where people are still saying.
That thing with the cell phones, you throw your cell phone in the machine, that was ridiculous.
But I think with what's working, they have huge international expansion capability. So despite the big run-up, I do like the stock.
All right, guys. I guess we kind of knew that this was going to happen at some point. Jim, the company is ultra successful. Those numbers up there, I don't think people realize how stunning they are. maybe scare a few people that the plane lands, they clean it up, and put it right back in the sky. But if you listen to what Mike Boyd said, to get this kind of travel in that part of the country, that part of the world, is opening up the rest of the world. It will mean economic success for everybody there and the ability to achieve things that they weren't able to before. Nevertheless, within a week, the top story would be the criticism of capitalism.
Well, I think the aviation industry in general has done an outstanding job in terms of improving safety, considering passenger travel has doubled in the last 15 years. But that doesn't mean all parts of the world are equal. And I think we have seen now 3 tragedies in the Southeast Asian area. So is it bad luck, as Mr. Boyd, I believe, said, or maybe are there trends going on? I think the exponential growth in the region has not been met with the infrastructure needs. I think mechanics are stretched, pilots are stretched, and I think the issue we're going to hear right now
would you go so far as to say we pull up that 10-year chart again? We see that it peaked 3 years ago. The rest of the market's up. This stock is drifting. Do you think they were driving so hard and it was just all about the bottom line that they've overlooked training, or is just something that happens with a young company?
I do think there's been in the U.S., the commitment to training pilots and the commitment to training this industry far exceeds any other country. And I think this company was particularly stretched as the area is stretched. But what it's doing for middle class, the demand for this travel is unbelievable for all the points you just said.
That's the type of hiccup you're going to see with any young company.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately,